Right, now we're very pleased that candidate for the presidency of the NUS, Tom Harwood, joins us on the line now. Tom, firstly, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to be here.
How's the campaign gone so far?
It's going really well, actually. We're picking up loads more momentum each day, loads of support from students right around the country is coming in, and it's all really positive.
Why are you running for this particular position then?
I've just been observing how the NUS has moved from crisis to crisis in the past 2 years and has really failed in its job to represent students. I want to inject more legitimacy, more moderation and more credibility into the movement. And I think I'm the person to do it.
On your manifesto, I mean, there's some quite sensible policies in there, including, pressurising the student loans company to take international students out of migration statistics. Why do you think the NUS hasn't kind of done this so far?
When it comes to migration, I think the NUS has some laudable aims right now, but its methods are utterly wrong. The current president often speaks at demos, etc. Recently she stood outside Parliament calling all borders racist and saying that there should be no borders whatsoever. I don't think that's a very credible position to start with when you're negotiating with the government. I want to lay out a clear case why it's in students' interests, why it's in institutions' interests, why it's in the government's and the country's interests to have many more international students coming to the UK, making universities more vibrant, making the culture better, the diversity of learning better, and contributing to the economy as well. I think these are all the cases that the NUS should be making. And at the moment it's standing in a position that is just not credible.
Are you a joke candidate?
No, I'm a very serious candidate. I'm a fun candidate, and I think the NUS has lost a lot of fun over recent years. I think that's the reason why the majority of students don't engage with it. I think we need to realise that we don't have to take ourselves incredibly seriously all the time. We're not the government. We're supposed to be a student movement. And being a student is a lot about having fun, but also doing things seriously. And I think I've got the right balance in my campaign.
In your manifesto, obviously, there's some quite funny policies, including, making Freddo's 10p again.
Absolutely.
Along with your serious policies in your manifesto, joke policies, do you think they undermine your campaign, and were they just, a cheap chance to get some media coverage?
Not at all. They're in a different font on the website. It's clear what's a joke and what's not. And I think what the joke policies do is really highlight what the NUS has done poorly in recent years. Many of the joke policies, for example, defeat ISIS using NUS boycotts, satirises a lot of what the NUS has tried to do in recent years. There's a motion coming to conference this year trying to settle a territorial dispute in Indonesia. There's a motion coming to conference this year trying to abolish the monarchy. I mean, these are things that the NUS should not be involving itself with. I'm really trying to highlight that and satirise it.
And these were both here at Warwick, actually, I think the two that you mentioned.
Yeah.
On the race as a whole, I mean, you're the youngest candidate, obviously, in there. Do you think that benefits you or hinders you?
I don't think age should really matter. I think what should matter is I'm the only candidate who's a student at the moment. The other two candidates are both graduates. And I think that when it comes to representing the interests of students, being a student myself, I'm probably in a better place to do that.
Obviously, you want to succeed Malia Bouattia, who is running again. How do you assess her performance as president?
It's really been quite shocking that 4 university SUs have voted to disaffiliate from the NUS in the last 12 months. I think that shows that there's been incredibly poor leadership. There's been scandal after scandal, and we need the radical change in direction to turn things around. On
the other candidates, do you think Shakira is a credible candidate? I mean, one of the big campaign videos you did was kind of suggesting that the NUS wasn't open to Tories.
I've yet to meet Shakira, but I've met Malia, and they're both perfectly nice people. But do you know what? I sort of feel like they might be better off in sort of a sectional protest group than an organisation that's trying to represent all students. I think that whoever leads the NUS should make sure it's an organisation that welcomes all people, no matter what their views are, and that we should represent and fight for students in the most inclusive way possible. And I think that the other two candidates don't do that in a way that is inclusive and don't fulfil the representative function of the NUS to the extent that they should.
One of the quotes about you, I think it was in a Guardian article, it says, Harwood is twice as farcical as Trump and half as farcical as Bouattia, so he stands a good chance. What do you make of that?
Honestly, I'm not flattered by those kind of comparisons. I'm not trying to emulate any kind of campaign. I'm trying to make the NUS more fun with memes. Sure, that's great. That will involve more people. But no, I'm really my own person, and I'm just as opposed to Trump as most students on most issues. I can guarantee you that. But no, I mean, people are going to throw around lots of comparisons and try and make student politics out to be something that it's not. I'm here to be very clear. Student politics is not national politics. Student politicians should stop trying to be like real politicians and recognise that we're supposed to be an interest group fighting for students. Any other kind of posturing, anything larger is silly and we shouldn't pay attention to it.
Now, Tom, obviously it's Easter and there's some exams coming up for students up and down the country. Do you know if there's a kind of video on YouTube that people can go and watch with, maybe 5 top tips for exams that you'd recommend? I think you know what I'm referring to.
I know what you're referring to. Back in the day, I think I was either doing GCSEs or an A-level. I did produce a kind of quite satirical video to that end. I did at the end of the video, I think, say don't follow any of these tips because they're all shocking. But yeah, no. I have a few slightly embarrassing videos of myself on YouTube. Yeah.
Now, just Tom, if we could get to know you a little bit better, I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions.
Go for it.
So, firstly, what is your favourite film?
Ooh. Oh God, quickfire! I should really be quick on this. I watched Inception yesterday, so I'm just going to say that.
All right, what is your...
Although Grand Budapest Hotel is better. Sorry.
What was that? Sorry.
Go on. Grand Budapest Hotel. I'm changing my answer.
What is your favourite food?
Pasta.
What is perhaps the best or a good memory you've had at Durham University?
Probably winning the presidency of the Durham Union last year.
What's your favourite aspect of the NUS?
I think that what the NUS could be. I mean, it's won things in the past with regards to lobbying, and I think we can reach those heights of taking students out of council tax, those kind of victories. We can get there again.
What is the absolute worst aspect of the NUS, in your opinion?
The grandstanding, the posturing, and the sectional interests.
Theresa May or Jeremy Corbyn?
Theresa May.
Do you think Brexit is going to have a negative impact on students?
I think there are going to be negatives and positives.
And finally, Tom, do you have a song request for us to play at the end of this?
Oh, a song request. I did get into a little Twitter spat with Shawn Mendes the other week, so probably treat you better.
I think that seems very apt. Tom, just before you let you go, do you want to tell students one last time why you should be the next president of the NUS?
The NUS doesn't represent us anymore. I want to bring it back to reality. I want to make it more inclusive, more moderate and more credible, and I'm going to win for students again.
Tom Harwood, thanks for joining us and best of luck.
Cheers.